We have a slightly different bag. John, thank you for chiming in and giving us the intro, though. This is the dick bag. If they're cool...
That's stiff.
If they're cool...
I've been waiting for that all afternoon.
If they're cool, they stay out of the dick bag. If they're a dick, you got to drop them in the dick bag.
Yes.
Ricky Steamboat.
Definitely out of the bag.
Jim Ross.
Jim Ross, borderline, but I'll say out of the. No, you know what?
You did hesitate.
In the bag because he was the one that told me that, pressured me and said, Shane, that the opportunity only comes around once. You hold out too long, you might miss your boat for the WWF. So for that alone, I respect him as an announcer and like him as a guy. But Jim, for the swerve on the Dean Douglas character,
Dick. Just incredible.
Out of the bag.
Dusty.
Same thing, I'm going to preface it. In the bag, not because I don't respect him and learned a ton from him, but whenever I was a young guy in wrestling, working in the NWA or WCW, I forget which, I had gone to him, I was starving. Literally starving. After about 6 months, I was $1,200 in the hole and wasn't living lavishly. And I went to Dusty in St. Louis at the Kiel Auditorium, and I sat him down and said, Dusty, look, if you have nothing for me, just please tell me I can go home and get a job in my field, whatever. Just, he put his arm around me and said, kid, you got a big business, big future in this business. Just stick with me, kid. And for the next 6 months, I went another $1,200 in the hole. So on that alone, Dusty.
Shawn Michaels.
Come on, slam dunk on that. Well, hold on a second. You don't have a crucifix around here any place, do you?
Oh.
Because we could probably put him on the crucifix in Jesus' place. Yeah. They would just put it like right there up on there and say, it used to say Jesus of Nazareth, but now it says Shawn Michaels.
We'll use that as the other part.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels, the Savior.
Hulk Hogan.
In the bag because he could have single-handedly unionized this business and protected a lot of guys. Whoop, I missed it.
Joey Styles.
Joey Styles definitely out of the bag. Greatest announcer in wrestling. Fantastic guy.
Vince McMahon.
In the bag with a little bit of a wipe.
That's a first. Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho out of the bag. Good guy.
I'm not even going to, why waste the time here?
Ric Flair. But I'll say this, before I put him in the bag, before I put Dick in the dick bag.
This has nothing to do with work ethic or the...
No, none of that, but here's the thing about Rick. I'm hearing stories now about, the state, alcoholic, whatever, this bad situation he's in. If that's the case, my heart goes out to him, but for being a dick to me, I'll put you in the dick bag.
Jeff Jarrett.
It's sort of indifferent on him. I'd say out. Yeah, no strong feeling one way or the other.
Russo.
Same thing. I'll just say dick bag on the sense that.
Dick bag? Oh.
Yeah, just because he's just written some horrible shit.
Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn, out of the bag. I always go along well with Kevin.
He loves us. Eric Bischoff.
I'll keep him out of the bag, and I'll tell you why. He, at a time when I left ECW, $100 and some thousand in the hole that I was owed from ECW. I had zero leverage. Vince McMahon was offering me some ridiculous $125,000 a year or something, and Bischoff could have very easily said, "Look, kid, you got no leverage. I'll pay you $100,000, take it or leave it." Instead, he put a very lucrative contract offer on the table to bring me and Flair to television, and based on that alone, out of the bag.
Triple H.
Part of the clique in the bag.
Guess right along the same lines here.
I know. I like
No
Pac.
clique? Okay,
I like
good.
Pac. He's same thing. It's one of those things. Not such a personal level, but I've always gotten along well with Pac.
Dynamite.
For clotheslining my best friend in the business coming in, Mick Foley, when he was there to get you over, dick bag.
Meng.
You can get me saying nothing bad about Meng.
There you go.
Meng, but he's a fantastic guy.
Smart man. Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette, good. I get along with Jim. Yeah,
Okay.
I can see how he rubs some people the wrong way, but I get along with him.
Raven.
Just because he always tells people he's the greatest ECW champion of all time, got to put you in with Dick.
He'll talk the fucking ears off a brass monkey too, wouldn't he? That one. Jesus. Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko out of the bag. Good friend.
Perry Saturn.
Out of the bag.
Dreamer.
Out of the bag.
Mike Graham.
Mike Graham, indifferent. No strong feeling one way or the other.
Your buddy Mick stays
Out of the bag, of
I
course.
take that. Kevin Nash.
Out of the bag. Kevin, another one. The thing about Kevin is I've always found, and everybody's agreed with me universally about this, and most people have mentioned it to me. Kevin, away from the clique, is as personable, professional, easygoing of a guy as there is. I saw him one night in Montreal literally be almost bullied into becoming an asshole on that particular night. Montreal had been down for 6-8 months, and Pierre Oulet, Carl Oulet, had worked his butt off to bring the house up and pulled in a bunch of favors and really scrambled his ass around Montreal. And the house was up about $60,000. And Vince wanted them to do some kind of a hot finish to come back the next month for, and hopefully bring the house up even more. And Sean had walked into the room, Michaels, and said to him, what are you going to do with him tonight? And he said, well, Vince wants some kind of a hot finish. And so I'm thinking, and then Sean cut him off. He goes, no, you're the world champion. When you worked with the world champion, did you put him over clean? And Kevin said, yes. He goes, well, you're the world champion. That piece of shit will put you over clean. And Kevin said, no, Vince wants something hot so we can come back. Very much espousing the position of the company and professional. And Sean just kept hammering him. Finally, Carl came walking in. And honestly, as I tell you the story, you'll think I'm making it up. Sean goes to walk out, and as he walks by, he goes, hey, Carl, how you doing, buddy? Turns and walks past him. And now Carl's blind in one eye. So he walks behind him, and he's standing literally right behind, I don't know if I can do this with mic on, but he's standing right behind Carl like this.
So
and
he
Carl
can't see him.
And he's talking to Kevin Nash, and he's going, so what do you want to do tonight, Kevin? And Kevin's going, well, and Sean's right behind his head going, Kevin, you can see, I'm watching this right in front of me, and I can see Kevin's and he keeps going and finally he said, well, I'm just thinking maybe the jackknife, 1, 2, 3, and Carl's going, no, we can't come back with that, and he's very drawn out, but every person espousing their position properly, except Sean, who's not even involved in the match, standing behind him like something you see in middle school. And I remember sitting there thinking, am I in 7th grade again? And this goes on. And then after Carl said, we have to call Vince because that won't work, we can't come back. Now you got to remember, this guy just busted his ass to get a town up that's down, up 60,000. That's a significant jump in the house. And Sean, who's done nothing but show up at the building to work, is just creating a ruckus where there's not one to be necessary. And goes over to the next dressing room. Again, remember I told you earlier about the guys pulling everybody apart. Sean, I've seen in action, if you want to call it in action, the night that that he put Marty through the window after they split up the rockers. He had been lying to Marty, and so Marty came in. Marty's a tough guy. He comes in ready to go after Sean, and he comes in. He goes, "You son of a bitch!" And as he walks, rushes across the room toward him, Sean literally covered up and fell into the fetal position. Did you ever see that there's that one lamb that has narcolepsy, and when something scares it, it plops over? Well, that was Sean. He just sort of plopped over and rolled up in a ball. And as Marty started kicking him perfect, and I laughed, and we just sort of pulled him off. It was so embarrassing to watch. Well, Sean back in Montreal with the thing with Carl goes into the other dressing room and says, "Hey, excuse me, everybody, if I can have your attention, please. Carl Oulet here is too much of a superstar, too much of a prima donna to do a job for the champion." So, Carl at that point goes, "Hey, I didn't say that, and he's going, no, let me finish, Carl. He's too big of a prima donna to put Kevin Nash, our champion, over." And at that point, Carl's a tough kid, said, "Fuck it." And everybody pulls him apart and everything. And we get back to the hotel that night, the Days Inn at Montreal. And it was one of those hotels where as you walked in from the front desk, there were me and Justin Credible were traveling with Tammy and Chris. Justin and I were in the very first room, PJ at that point. And as we're walking into the room, the clique walks in behind us and taps me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, we're in room whatever. We're getting pizza and beer. Come on down. We want to talk to you." So I go down to the room. And as I walk in, they're talking about this thing with Carl, and quite frankly, what Carl did was exactly what he should have done. That wasn't what Vince wanted. It wasn't what was going to be good for the house. There was one person stirring that pile of shit, Shawn Michaels. And I guess why I find God now. Makes him feel a bit less guilty. I've always, Sean, whenever the storm cloud comes overhead, do you get a little nervous? The lightning bolt's going to come out at you. But they get back into the room, and Sean's really just ramping it up. We should get you motherfucker, blah blah blah. And Sean goes, I know. Let's call Vince and have him fire him. And as Kevin went to pick the phone up, I forget which one it was, but it was either Sean or Ray's. One of them said, no, hold on a second. They put the phone back down and said, let's think about this. We can do better. And they're like sort of like pushing it back and forth, and finally go, I know, I got it. Let's have Vince McMahon starve him for 2 years. And I remember watching it. It was like I was watching somebody be verbally raped. Here's a guy who's done absolutely nothing wrong, has done absolutely everything to help the company, and here are the guys that get picked up, fly first class, they get picked up by limousines, as the rest of the grunts, us grunts, are out there driving ourselves all over the creation, sitting in the middle seats in the back of the plane, telling each other that they should get Vince to starve this guy. That's only trying to feed his family like anybody else is. And that when I saw that kind of thing, it was what told me, like I just wanted to get out of there and go take a shower.
Yeah.
I felt dirty. I was watching it.
That's very mean. Just mean. Taz, dickbag?
Let me tell you, brother, that guy is, he can be a dickbag, but we've had some great matches, so he stays out of the bag.
All right, Bubba Ray.
Bubba Ray, I got to disagree. Bubba's always been very professional with me, very respectful. We worked closely together on promoting ECW. Of course, he stole this, and you're a thief because of that. But Bubba, I consider Bubba a friend.
New Jack.
New Jack, craziest son of a bitch. How this guy is still alive is amazing. I'm glad he is, but amazes me because he has pushed the envelope about as far as any human being I've ever seen to the edge and survived it. But he's doing great. He's the happiest I've seen in a while, and I'm happy for him. Out of the bag.
Kidman.
Kidman, out of the bag, like Billy.
Shivani.
Shivani, talented, but he when he got that power, went right to his head. So dick bag with Dick. Whoa.
Oh, Dick? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, dick bag.
Shivani. That's shocking to me. Scott Hall.
Scott Hall. I'm going to keep him out of the dick bag only because guy has enough demons of his own. I wish the best for him. Hope he gets himself cleaned up. But when I saw him the last time, it wasn't. It cause for great concern.
Conan, who I'm putting in because showed us 2 times and owes us $500. But what did you think of him?
I always got along with Conan. He was difficult to promoters to work for because he was always espousing his guy's point of view, but that never entailed me. I was always just like on a work level with him and stuff. And I think he had seen in some of the things that I had been through in the business, I think he had seen like a kindred spirit of some sorts. And so we'd always got along pretty well outside of the ring.
Okay. Clearly, you never had to hire him. Shane McMahon.
I've always liked Shane. I've known Shane since he was a kid, and he's always been, I thought, a pretty intelligent guy. Not pretty, a darned intelligent guy, and seems to be in that family the one to me that has the biggest cojones to be willing to stand up for the right thing.
Very good.
At least in my experience.
Johnny Ace, I think, is staying out.
Yeah,
right?
he stays out. Although I've heard some of the people say they'd probably put him in there.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah.
He hit the dick bag a lot. Lance Storm.
Great guy, very intelligent, great worker. A little dry in the character, but he's out of the bag.
How torn you must be when you look at this name.
It really is, because
How much money does he owe you? To the penny. Give me.
$144,000. $144,000. Oh, it's been so long. It's 44 cents. It's
Okay.
144,000 something, 44
4
cents.
cents.
So, it really is. I mean, because for me, the guy that put me in the situation to become the franchise and the biggest part of my career and looked me in the eye and lied to me about the money that he owed me and was going to pay me and swore to me on my father's eyesight, you will get every. So for your father, I'm going to put you in the dick bag just because you swore on your dad's eyesight when you knew you were lying.
Very good.